So the book is Animated Life, and it's a pretty substantial book. It's not a quick read. It looks like it's pretty good. So
I saw it as a very thin book. You know, I'm surprised to hear you say that because I thought, boy, I should have written some more.
where are we at? We got how many pages is this? Almost 300. 265.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, you know. Pages
266.
It depends on how the art director,
Size of the font and all that.
The guys, how they lay it out.
Yeah.
I think they did a great job, though. I'm really happy with it.
So the book covers your specific journey through animation, right?
Yeah, basically, and specifically Disney animation.
Okay.
Yeah. Although the cover, it's really funny. I wasn't allowed to use any Disney art on the cover. This was supposed to be a totally different cover, but it had a lot of Disney stuff and it was really cool. And then all of a sudden, there's no Disney stuff at all on the cover, and it's all like my artwork. Like, yikes, you know, my stuff. And I wanted to have really great Disney art.
Now the picture in the front on the top here looks like it doesn't fit with the cartoony nature. What project is this from?
It doesn't at all. Yeah, that was a graphic novel I was working on last year on the Tuskegee Airmen.
Okay.
And it's weird how they chose that to go on the cover.
They just named a highway for them down in San Diego, the Tuskegee Airmen.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, gee.
They had a bunch of the guys that are still around.
It really has nothing to do with animation except the fact that I drew this graphic novel thing, and there it is, because the publisher wanted to use it, and it's like, why? But you know.
Right.
So at least I can say at least all this art is mine, but it's not really related to anything. It's just
right.
sort of they said, give us some art we can use on the cover, and I gave them a bunch of art, and so they used it, and it's like, okay, it's just sort of random stuff.
Well, the book is probably a little bit like that too, right? I mean, little snapshots of your career. And...
Yeah, but it's all Disney. The one thing about the book's interior, it's all consistently Disney.
Okay.
So that's the one good thing. Because it's really my career at the Disney studio.
Right.
From the 1950s to present day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anything in the book that, well, I mean, it's the story of your career, and you said it's all at Disney. Is there anything that people would be surprised to find out about in this book? Are there any kind of bombshell moments that somebody might read through it and say, wow, I didn't know that happened, or I didn't realize it was like that?
No real bombshells. Like I said, this is not a tell-all book, and it's not an expose. It's just
right.
simply my experience working at the Disney studio, working with a lot of talented people, working with the 9 old men, working with Walt Disney himself. And I wanted to share that.
Right.
Because one of my big complaints about the old Disney guys, with the notable exception of Frank and Ollie, not a lot of guys wrote about their careers.
Right.
You know, and I so wanted a lot of Disney guys to write.
What's kind of lost to history then? Once
it is, yeah, because once these guys pass on, the opportunity for that book is gone.
Yeah.
And I had talked to a number of Disney old-timers who were gracious enough to spend time with me,
right,
talking about their career. And I would always say, why don't you write this stuff down? And
yeah.
they were always like, well, you know, I'll get around to it one day. And of course, they never did.
Everybody's busy, and one day turns into the next. And
and writing a book is a daunting task anyway, because where do you start?
Yeah.
Really, where do you start? But I realized you got to start somewhere. And in this book, I just started at the beginning.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is the best place to start any book.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's like the Mad Hatter.
Right.
Start at the beginning, and when you come to the end, stop.
Yeah.
See?
So, is there anything in here about you specifically have a lot of stuff online? You've got a blog that I look at quite a bit, and is there any of that kind of stuff covered in the book? I mean, I haven't had a chance to read the book yet.
I think so, in a way that I'm just telling. I was trying to give the reader a feeling of what it was like to be at Disney in the 50s.
Right.
You know, a lot of people, you know, simply weren't there. You know, I was lucky enough to be there in the 1950s and to be there in the 1960s. And all that's kind of lost now, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys have since passed on. So this is going to tell that story.
Right.
And if a lot of the guys who I wanted to write a book didn't, well then that's lost. You know, that's lost to history.
Is there anything that, you know, given your career started in the 50s and you're still currently working,
Yeah, I'm still there.
Is there anything that you would tell someone who's just starting out in animation or in the animation business that you wish you knew coming in, or any kind of advice that you think would be helpful?
Well, the only advice I tend to give, and whenever I teach a class or do a Disney video of some kind, is remember the legacy, the foundation, what this company was based on, what Walt Disney wanted to do, and
Right.
what he continued to do, really up until the day of his passing.
Right.
You know, I think Walt was just a great creative leader, a visionary. You know, he was all about creativity. He was all about innovation. It wasn't about making money.
Right.
Oddly enough, it really wasn't about making money at all.
Right.
Although naturally, any company needs to make money in order to survive.
Right.
Walt knew that if he produced a great product, be that product a theme park or a movie or a book, that product would eventually make money and the company would survive and thrive.
Right.
And he proved that theory correct, as he did it time and again. Every time Walt took a risk and did something crazy, it always ended up making money for the company.
Right.
Yeah. He didn't chase the dollar. You
Right.
know, his motivation was not how much money can I make, but what cool thing can I do
Right.
that will eventually make money.
Right.
It was fun. It was fun doing the book. I mean, you know, a lot of people look at writing a book as a task, you know, and it is to a certain degree. For me, a lot of it was just trying to structure the book. You know, I spent most of my work, the year I spent writing this book at the Disney studio, by the way. I actually wrote most of it at Disney.
Right.
And it was just trying to find a narrative.
Right.
You know, find a structure to tell these stories and to give the reader a feeling of what it was like to be at Disney.
You've got quite a few behind-the-scenes pictures.
A lot of those photographs were taken by me.
Yeah.
You know,
So a lot of these, you
Yeah.
can't get these anywhere else. These
Exactly,
are all
yeah.
Floyd
It's-
Norman exclusives.
Yeah, it's very personal. I had a camera. I started out with a Polaroid land camera, of all things. And those images are remarkably good for images that are over 50 years old.
Right.
I mean, keep in mind, I took these photographs 1956, 1957, and I'm amazed at the quality. Some other photographs I took years later using 35 millimeter camera.
Right.
Those shots at Pixar were photographed with a throwaway camera that I bought at a drugstore.
One of
You know
those single-use type
yeah,
things.
the little
Yeah.
camera where you shoot some pictures.
That's the
and
ones
you-
where my mom first got one, and I said, well, you know, you only use these once, and then
Yeah.
you take them, you get them developed. And she opened the camera, thinking you had to take the film out. I said, no, you take the
you
whole,
don't
take the whole
take
camera.
film
Yeah.
out, yeah. I realized that I didn't have a camera while working at Pixar. I had left my camera at home, and I just went to the store and bought a little throwaway camera, and I took a bunch of photographs. And it's amazing how good they are. Consider this is basically a throwaway camera.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I guess film is film to some degree, but
it is. It is. Yeah.
so you're at the most high-tech place in the country with the most low-tech camera that you.
Yeah. That happened a lot. It's really funny because I remember when I was working at Disney, I was working in a high-tech facility where they had probably systems that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I was doing a lot of the effects on an Apple laptop because they needed to get the stuff done and get it done quickly. I had an Apple laptop with Photoshop and Illustrator, and I did all the artwork on my laptop. And I thought this was hilarious because I was surrounded by these high-end workstations, you know, that the company had probably
Yeah.
paid hundreds of thousands of dollars for. And I'm thinking, where are they using all this equipment that they
Yeah.
invested thousands of dollars in? And I've got this little Apple laptop, and I'm doing all of the digital color and effects and stuff on a laptop. But that's the way it goes sometimes. You get the job done, and what matters is getting it done.
The workbook section in the back of your book here. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah,
It looks
because
like you've got.
yeah, my publisher really wanted an academic tone. They wanted me to be an instructor, to be a teacher, and that's one thing I hate doing is teaching. You know, I really do.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to figure out, okay, how do I give instruction when I'm not really a teacher?
Right.
So I thought, you know what? I'm just going to write down some of the things I've learned
Right.
from the people I've worked with.
So these are kind of like little
And so they're
little segments of things that you learned through your
very
career.
brief. They're very focused. I hope.
Well, that's worth the price of the book right there. Just
Really?
just
Yeah.
the back section.
I've heard some guys tell me that they said they enjoyed that back section very much.
Yeah.
They said they really liked that. So, but I know I needed to provide some instruction, but I didn't quite know how to do it.
Right.
So I thought, well, I'll just write down the stuff I learned.
Yeah.
And that's what I did.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you want to plug your website as well? Your
My
your blog?
website. Yeah. Well, I don't know, Mr. Fun.
I mean, I'll put links to all this
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
online as well. What's
Yeah.
your middle name, by the way?
It's my name. I wish I had a really cool name like Baz Luhrmann, but I don't. I thought he's got the coolest name. I always Baz Luhrmann. What a great name. I could only have a cool name, but my name is Floyd Ernest Norman.
Well, it's
which
fun.
Sounds really kind of dorky and geeky.
Yeah.
And
Well, Floyd's a cool name.
yeah, I guess I can't. Yeah, I can't say anything bad about Floyd.
Yeah.
Even though I asked my mother, why didn't you name me Dave or Steve or something,
Yeah.
a really cool name like that?
Well, when you go into a room and you say, "Hey, Dave," three guys stand
three
up.
guys.
Yeah,
stand-
that
that's
doesn't
very-
happen with
that's
Floyd
very
usually.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although I've always identified Floyd with Floyd the Barber.
Yeah, I get
on
that a
the
lot
old
too.
Andy Griffith show.
Yeah.
Or Johnny Carson doing Floyd R. Turbo.
Yes, I get that a lot
American.
too. Yeah, I get that a lot.
Yeah. What I find really cool is the fact that the book is being published in multiple languages.
Oh.
And that's a real bonus.
That's
because
cool.
I didn't even realize that until they told me, yeah, we're going to be published in Spanish, French, German, even Chinese, Cantonese, and Mandarin.
Wow.
Which and I've even gotten fan mail from Sweden.
Wow.
People who've already picked up the book, in Sweden. So good grief,
good.
So it's out there. It's literally around the world,
That's great.
and I'm kind of blown away by that.